Welcome to the InStory show. I'm Devorah Spilman, your host, and our theme this season is what does it mean to expand into a new story? And how do you stop hiding your spiritual gifts and dare to be seen for who you really are by saying yes to your soul and telling your story? So today I'm thrilled to welcome Debasree Dey. Hi, Debasree.
Hi, Devorah. So nice to be here.
So I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to read a little bit about Debasree and then we will dive in. Since 2016, Debasree has been sharing her passion with others, teaching art to nearly 20,000 students worldwide and leading over 700 in-person workshops. For Debasree, art is more than just creating something beautiful. It's about self-expression, healing, and discovering the hidden parts of yourself. Oh, just love that. So, all right, I would love to hear, what does expanding into a new story mean to you?
That's a great question. Um, so right now, for me, expanding into what did you say? Expansion into your true story?
A new story.
Into your new story. So for such a long time, I have lived trying to impress others, looking for validation from people, trying to do what everybody else expects me to do. So that is the life I have lived for many, many years. And only very recently, I would say right now, I'm going through a phase where I am starting to listen to my inner being, the inner call, even though I have kind of listened to my inner voice over a period of time, over like a few decades. But I think the more you listen, the more you get to listen. And the more you listen to that voice, more you expand. So for me, when you don't listen to your inner self, you contract, just the opposite of expansion. And the moment you listen to your inner voice, you expand. It's such a simple formula, because, when you're not expanding, you are stagnating. You are doing same thing as you have been doing. And as you know, a bit of my story before, the work I have done before, it's so stagnating when you just go to the same place and there is no growth. No growth is the right word, probably. When you're not growing, you're stagnating. So right now, coming back to your question, is the new story that I'm expanding into is something that I'm hearing from my inner voice, from my inner artist, what she wants to create. And I'm creating that thing. I'm painting the things that she wants to do. If that means scribbling crayon, like literally like what kids would do, so be it. That is what I'm doing, because I have painted perfect paintings for such a long time, like, a finished canvas painting. That is what we think of a painting is supposed to be like, right? But over the few couple of years, I am starting to do things that I have never done in terms of art, in terms of painting, which is just painting my heart out, just doing whatever my inner artist wants to do. And as a result of that, I am expanding into this being that I really don't know, because it's a new person I'm meeting for the first time, I could say. And that is the expansion that I'm currently going through, and I'm really curious to see where this journey takes me in the future.
I I think that is a super important distinction, that there is this listening to the inner guidance, that inner voice, and that expansion often is exactly the opposite of an exact predictable formula that you must accomplish and achieve. I think that's a very, very important distinction and perception, that sometimes that real expansion is into an unknown, and that's often why we didn't do it.
Yeah.
All right,
Into an
take some courage.
uncertainty. Yeah.
Say that again.
Into an uncertainty. And most of the time, we are scared of uncertain things, right? That is
Right.
discomfort for us.
Right, right. But in the end, that is where creativity and fulfillment end up coming from. But it does take some level of healing, support, courage, and so forth to kind of break out of this old message that you must stay in this box to survive. So take us back and tell us a little bit what I like to call how you got from there to here.
All right. Okay. Where do I start? Where do you want me to start, Deborah? Tell
Well, you know
me.
where I like you to start is, what was a turning point moment?
Mhm.
that really allowed you to get out of a life that was, like, too tight, not working for you anymore? Like, what was that turning point moment?
I have had several turning point moments, so I'm just going to quickly go through them,
Yeah, yeah,
okay?
yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. The first turning point moment was when I started working. Like, I wanted to be an artist as a kid, but I had to become an engineer because that is what the society that I grew up in India, that is what was expected of me, and that's what my family and my parents also wanted me to do.
Wait a minute,
So
you became what kind of wait. You became an engineer?
I became an engineer.
What what kind of engineer? Like, that just is so, like, how is this artist having to become an engineer? Like, that's such a good example of, you have to do this box to survive, right? So
Yes,
what
after
just give us
10
a
of
little picture of what kind
yes,
of engineer you were.
I'm an IT engineer, computer engineer, you could say. So that's what I became because that was the norm. The time I was growing up, I wanted to go to art college because art was so much of my passion at that time, but that was totally off the table. That it wasn't allowed. So of course, I went to the IT field. I worked in a IT company for 10 years. So life was going absolutely smooth, and on the surface, on the outside, externally, like you get everything that you want from life, I would say. A very perfect life, but inside, that voice that I had hushed probably 10, 15 years back, the soul that wanted to become the artist was completely shut off, and I completely forgot about her as well because I was busy in the life, traveling the world, working in multiple countries, living the good life, so called. So life was going on really great. And during the time when I was living in London, I started going to art museums. Before that, I was not really exposed to art for a really long period of time, while I was living in India, and I lived in Dubai also for a few years. So I haven't been exposed to art for a long time. But in London, what happened was I was exposed to the art museum, and I started feeling addicted almost to go to the art museums every day. After work, I would just visit the same museums over and over again, and there are plenty of museums to go through. So I have no idea why. I mean, that time I had no idea why I wanted to go there and just keep staring at the paintings for hours. And that is when the curiosity started to come back. I would come back to my office, I would work, sit in my desk, cubicle, 9 to 5 job. But inside, I would like feel these cravings toward art. Then eventually came back to India, and I quit my job and I started painting on the side. Before quitting for almost 2 to 3 years, I was painting at home while I was going to work for as in work, going to work and coming back and painting. And then I realized that I really don't want to work anymore. I really want to do this painting thing, and I want to see where it takes me, right? So I quit my job, which was a very irrational decision. I
Right.
wouldn't.
I want you to say more about both how did you start painting again while you had your job, and what allowed you to quit? That's a turning point, and so many people, they don't quit, or it takes so long to quit. So share a little bit about, how did painting come back into your life, and then what inside you allowed you to quit?
It was as simple as going to an art store, buying. I had plenty of money to buy anything I wanted to. So I just bought a lot of canvases, paints, and stuff. So my whole house was full of stuff. So I was painting at home, watching YouTube videos. Very simple. So I would come back from work. Even if I come at 10 o'clock in the night, I would paint for 2 hours before going to sleep. So that is how much I was attracted to painting. That went on for 2 to 3 years. What
Wow.
prompted me to quit my job was, it was a very, very difficult decision, very difficult decision. And for me, it was probably a bit easier compared to others because um, my I knew my parents would support me,
Mhm.
even though I didn't need their support. But I knew if required, if I don't do much out of painting, I know they could support me, or I could go back to work again. So I took a break of like a year, and I was literally not really doing much, but just painting, like whenever I wanted to. It was a bit of depressing time in my life, I would say, because when you stop earning the amount that you've been earning for a really long time, like over a decade, it becomes like you are not able to do the things that you used to do. But it wasn't that difficult for me because art was providing for me. The fulfillment I was getting from art was kind of balancing that depression, you know. But I eventually realized that this cannot go on like this. I have to start earning money. So what I did was, so I have been painting by then for like 3 4 years. So I realized I have little bit of expertise to teach others. So I went to teaching. I started teaching people in, I used to live in a city called Pune those days in India, which is on the west side. Right now on the east side. So that is where I was living because that is where I was posted because of my job. So that's how I ended up in that city. And I started teaching people. It's called kind of like painting parties. The concept comes from America. And I had American friends who actually told me about this concept in Pune. And they said, why don't you start something like this? And I started. It was a huge hit. In India, nobody had done that. I'm like one of the pioneers who started the concept in India back in 2016. And as the data says, as you have already read out in the intro, that within a very short period of time, in 4 years, I had conducted 700 plus workshops and I have painted with 7,000 to 8,000 people. So it's a huge number. And I saw so many lives change, in the process because people who never thought they could paint, they were able to paint and produce a finished canvas painting. And that is what it was. It is like you come sit with me, paint for 2 hours, and you create a finished painting. Yeah, even for a person who has never ever painted before. So that went on for 4 years, and then lockdown hit, so that business had to be shut down. And that is when I was forced to go online, and that's what you see currently, my online business, online art classes. And yeah, that is where, so that was another turning point, I would say, when things shifted, because change is never comfortable. So when something changes, it's like you don't know how it is going to be. And creating online videos, something like right now, it feels like it's so easy thing because I've done it for 5 6 years, but that time I've never done that before. So creating videos, editing them, uploading. But since I had an IT background, so this is where I think life is so good that it has trained me to do all the things, so I could very easily switch, learn the things, and create my online classes, my websites. So everything that you see has been done by me in the online world. So it has been quite easy for me to do that shift because of my IT background, I would say.
But, that's such an important point because I often say this to the women who come into my world to work with me, like, don't throw out your old career. Like that's such a good example of bringing your old career along with you to serve as a tool, not as your new career, but as a tool in what you're up to now. So I would love to hear some of what you are seeing as the work. Like, how has the work you do grown and changed? And how is it helping people? How does it help your soul? How does it help your life? Like, how is it going deeper? And where has it been leading the people who come to you? Where has it been leading you? Right? It's not just about the art, it's just a much deeper work and the whole inner voice thing. Like, talk a little bit about that.
So there was another turning point
Okay.
here also after I moved to online. And this turning point is probably the biggest one so far in my life, I would say. So if you see my previous works, I used to paint landscape paintings, mostly representational paintings, where you're looking at a photograph and you are painting a landscape or a seascape, whatever, like a scenery, right? But my heart always wanted to create abstract. But when I was doing a business in India, people want see mostly people don't really understand what is an abstract concept. They want to learn something that they can see and understand, which is a representational thing. So I did that for many years because to earn money, to be very blunt. That's not what I wanted to do, but I had to do that. But in the process, again, not discarding the things that I have done, I have gained a lot of skill because of that. So that is in my toolkit right now. But after the lockdown, when I went online, even then also I was teaching landscapes. The shift, the last turning point that came to me was by listening to my inner voice, which was telling me that paint something that you truly want to, not something to please others, not something what others are expecting from you. So my customer base was completely built on that background of painting landscapes, people who understand landscapes or scenery, right? So making that shift was huge turning point for me again, because I was listening to what I really wanted to do. Like I told you at the very beginning, like, just just scribbling with crayon, just making some mark with your paint. That is what I'm understanding is true. What is that true art for me means these days? It does not mean you have to create a finished artwork, a finished painting. You have to work on it for 10 hours and create a finished painting. It can be even if you just sit for 5 minutes and just smash some paint on your paper. That is art, because that is what you feel like doing, something that makes you feel good in the process. It's not what is happening on the paper, but what is happening inside while you are doing it. It can be just scribbling or painting, or even if you paint, you tear it off, you collage, you just tear a magazine page and collage it on your in your art journal and make, paint some, put some color over it. That is also art, if that makes you feel good. If so what I have started doing is like put paper, fabric, you stitch into paper, just do whatever you want to do. Everything is allowed. There is no restriction, there is no limitation to the things that you can do. I pick up a leaf from a tree and I paint on it and I stitch into it. I add it to my art journal. There is nothing called off limits. You are allowed to do everything. I pick up a packaging box that's lying outside, I turn it into a art journal. Just today I was doing something, can't seem to find it. So I just find the empty boxes and I turn them into art journals. So there is everything you can do. And art journaling, I don't know if you know the concept of art journaling. It's so fun. So the moment I found this concept of art journaling, I did it, you won't believe, when I was 15, 20 years old, when I didn't even know this word called art journaling, but I used to do it. And then obviously everything stopped. And because thanks to the internet, and now it is like a huge thing, like a lot of people have been doing it for the past many years. So it's basically just doing whatever you want to do. So that is the kind of classes that I'm creating these days. Also, my current classes on my website, it gives you the permission to just do whatever you want to do. And how you don't have to really know painting is a skill, like the kind of painting that I used to do before. That takes a lot of practice, a lot of skill building. You go to art college, you learn the techniques and everything to become a professional artist. What I'm realizing is, yes, if that is what you want to do, that's good, but you don't really have to do that. If you feel called as an artist, you are allowed to do the simple things and you can call them art. It is valid, because most of the time what I have realized, so this is the last turning point that I have gone through and which I am currently going through, is just where I have given myself the permission to do whatever I want to do, just painting on papers, tearing off papers, like creating a mess. And it doesn't have to look beautiful, it just has to feel good to you. And what has happened because of that, because of this, everything that I just told you, is that something has changed inside me, something has been healed inside me, which I had no idea that it can happen. And it is such a strange thing that it's kind of like a mystical thing. It's like that. But I feel so calm, I feel grounded, I feel not the need to impress anyone with my art. So all of these changes has happened inside of me just because I have been doing this kind of practice, like playing like a kid on with paper. And I have kind of like, I don't paint on canvas anymore. I would probably eventually, but I just like painting on like cheap inexpensive papers and just scribbling. Do you want me to show you a bit of what I'm talking about? Because I
Sure.
think seeing
Yeah.
will give a better idea of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So let me first show you. So these are, so when you tear and you collage, this is the kind of scraps that you end up with. Can you see? Like these are all small paper scraps, But then when I have so many boxes of this, I have just one or two right now in front of me that I can show you. So all of these papers full of like just painted, and some I have taken out from the magazine probably. So this kind of papers, you take it out and you art journal with them, and then you put them together and you can create finished pages like this. They doesn't have to mean anything. They doesn't even have to look good. They just, can you see here? Just put 2 3 pages papers together that I have painted probably. I hope you're able to see it.
Yeah. It's fabulous. It's so much fun. It makes me happy just to look at it. It's so surprising and different every page. It's
Every page is
so
because
breaking the
it doesn't,
rules. Like,
there are no rules exactly. Just eh, made some marks with my finger, just with a branch that I picked up from a tree. I made some marks with that. So it's very freeing, it's very liberating. And I think what I'm trying to tell everybody is that give yourself permission to play like this, because you change as a person. You change as a person so much inside, because when you like paint and you tear and do all these things, what I have experienced is uh, the broken parts of me inside, they start to heal, they start to form, like come together and become whole. And you start to feel whole as a person when you like do this kind of activity. I don't know if that makes sense.
so it sounds so wonderful. Like, say a little bit about how you help someone start. Like, is the book you bought like skinny when you buy it and it became fat after you put all that stuff in it? Like, did you have to do something? Like, give us a few how to get started tips for someone who has never done art journaling before.
Yes, that's a great question. How do you start? I really had to create a class and tell you how to create it, how to do it. But let me show you one that I have right in front of me. Okay.
Yeah.
So here is one that I did just a few days back. This is a page from a magazine, from some coffee table book. So this is not filled. That the one you saw is filled. So you just pick up some page. This is all magazine pages.
Did you just staple it? Is that how it's all stuck together?
I stitched it. I stitched. This is a brown paper bag. This is some dyed paper. So I'll show you the middle page so that you understand.
So did you stitch it together before you decorated it, before you put
No,
stuff
I just
on
work on that because I have papers, a stack of papers like this, like
it? Uh-huh.
literally huge stack. So I just take a few papers from them and then I kind of like stitched it in the center.
But
So
did
this
you
is,
color and draw on, did you make the papers and then, oh, I like these papers, and you laid
yeah.
them all flat on each other and then you stitched them and folded them?
Yeah, so like I've done just a few bit of painting on these papers just to modify them little bit, just to make them my own and not be exactly how I took them off from the magazine. And then you stitch it, then I stitched it, and then you start working in them very randomly. So I have a class called Painted Papers, which is a huge favorite among students.
Is that your favorite? No, that's not your free gift. That's not your free
No,
gift that you have this
no,
time.
my free gift is Soulful Layers, which is where I give you steps of doing
Ah,
this.
okay, good, perfect. All right, so you're gonna get the answer to my question in her free
Oh,
gift. Perfect.
yeah, so that is not really how to create an art journal. So that is what I
Okay,
was trying to show you, how to create
okay,
an
yeah,
art
yeah.
journal. And I was thinking of creating a free class on this also, because I feel how to create an art journal, a very simple one where you don't have to do anything. You just put a few papers together, just modify them little bit, and it's really fun thing. So I just create art journals. So these are all classes on my website, which are, these are like junk piece of papers. You won't even believe what this has come from. So you just make and so this is our latest class that I have published, and people are absolutely loving this one. Where it's, can you see how fun it is? Like there is
Yeah,
no
super
rules.
fun. That's why I asked you, how do you start? Because a lot of times it's when you put it together, it starts to have a certain magic. But when it's all separate,
Absolutely.
you know that cute children's book about the dot, about the little girl who says she can't paint and she's terrible and she paints just a dot on her paper, and then the teacher frames it and puts it up on the wall. And I feel like
Wow.
that's like what I'm asking. It's like we'll do these things and they don't look like anything, but there's
Yes.
something about putting it all together
Mm.
that
Yes. Yes.
does something else to it.
Yes, you are so right. Yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about. When you put them together, it just turns into something beautiful. And if people are interested, they can visit my website and see there are a few free classes, few paid classes. And this is exactly what I teach, because this is what I feel is so liberating, because you need to know this. You need to learn. If you like, and you don't even need to be an artist to create this. That is what I am, I guarantee. Like, even if you have never, because there is no painting, there is no skill required as such, like an art
Right.
skill. You just put things together. You just smash paint, which anybody can do. That is what you do. And you know this, what this is, it is a pamphlet that I picked up from somewhere. Like, that is what I've turned into an art journal. So you don't even have to stitch or anything. It's just a pamphlet that I have walked into.
So that's the thing that for like someone like me who generally doesn't do I don't do, generally don't do anything on paper like that. It's just I'm all
Mhm.
stories and talk and imagery, and so I don't think like that. Like it just
Right.
wouldn't occur to me. So part of
Right.
it is taking people into a new way of valuing something that just looks ridiculous in the
Yes.
beginning, right?
Yes.
It doesn't feel like anything at first. Like whenever you start something new, I think you're like, it's not working. Right,
You
so seeing what you like, I like that you're giving people a step-by-step thing that layers, because I think that will help. I'll go in and look at it because if you have never entered into that realm, it's surprising to you how clueless someone who's never been in that realm feels.
Yes. And that is why if you look at my step-by-step guidance, it's so easy. Just
Yeah,
pick a paper and glue it. Make a mark, make a horizontal line, tear a little bit of your page. These kind of instructions are there in that book that will
okay,
help you just do one thing at a time, and it won't even take more than 5 to 10 minutes,
okay.
because everybody is busy these days, you know. And what you're saying, I was just thinking, what made me do this kind of classes and bring it to the world is, you know, I used to teach, I have taught many thousands of people in my physical in person workshops, right? And I have seen when people start painting, like a proper landscape painting, halfway through the painting, they feel like, oh, this is not turning out to be good. It's not, because obviously people can't paint, but eventually they get to the stage where it looks good. But what in this process, in this way of working, even that messy middle stage, it's okay. You leave it like that. You tear it off, you put it in a journal, and it's going to be like turned into something else.
What I love about it is that it's a way of taking us out of the overthinking that we get into in our world where you have to have a plan and you have to follow the steps and it has to be exact and you have to know what you're doing. And I love this nudge to let go of the rules and I mean I do it with imagery and meditation. I do it with another domain, but like having the courage to get into a foreign domain, like I love the fact that you're making such a powerful simple entry point for somebody who doesn't tend to go towards art or color on paper, or who overthinks everything, or who doesn't think they're good at art, because almost all of us were told we weren't good at art. Like hardly anybody got told they were good at anything creative in school.
Yes, yes,
That's just
yes.
a thing.
That
So
is what I'm trying to kind of delete from this world, probably, you know. That
yeah,
is exactly what I want to do in this world.
yeah, yeah. I love it. It's such a it's great. And that everything counts and you can find and all of a sudden, I often tell people look for the extraordinary in the ordinary. And I do it in terms of stories, but you're saying look for those ordinary things. And here's another way that they become extraordinary. Just
The journal that I was creating today. So this is what came about today.
wow.
Every page of this, so this is a new format that I'm teaching.
Wow.
It goes up. I just showed it like, this evening to my husband, and he's also wowed by it. And this whole thing, the concept of this class that I'm creating right now, it's created from scraps. Scraps, like literally scraps, they were supposed to go to the dustbin. They became this. And through this whole process, the feeling that I have got is there are so many parts of ourselves that we treat as scraps. and we don't want to talk about it. We want to hide it inside. We are ashamed of those parts of us. And when I am getting goosebumps as I'm talking to you about this, and when I started working on this journal, putting all those literally junk pieces together to build something, and I've just put a little bit of photos just to make the beautify the page, just to make a keep like a focal point, like having a butterfly, a small butterfly, or so all the pages have a little butterfly or a botanical or something, uh, photo of a lady,
Oh, fun.
just to put something on the top. But the whole concept of this journal is basically that pick up your trash, look at them, give it a new life.
Wow.
Because that is exactly what I feel I am doing, and I know many people are doing that. It's very difficult to look at our trash inside. It takes a lot of courage to do that. But when you do something like this, when you're hands on doing something, the activity becomes so easy. So you're not really thinking and doing. Through the process of working, it's happening automatically. How cool is that? Like, I have tried all those meditation practices and all those things to heal my broken self inside. Nothing has worked. These things work. And it's so easy, it's so fun to do, and you have a beautiful thing. It's a bonus that you get this beautiful thing at the end of the session. But the process that I went through, the like this whole morning, I've worked on this probably for 7 to 8 hours today, and it's just been amazing experience. And it just happened today, and I get to share with you my real story of today.
That's very beautiful what you said, that we all have those scraps of ourselves we don't value, and here you are giving a whole nother message to your soul. What
Yes.
so beautiful. All right, describe a little bit just again your free gift for people because it is going to give them a way to get into this work.
Absolutely. So I know how, like you said, most people don't even know where to get started. So this, it's a 5 day practice, I would say. So every day you would get a set of prompts. Some days there are 4 to 5 prompts, some days 7 to 8 prompts. And the prompts are really easy. Just pick a paint color that you like, any medium, and make some marks. Pick up a pencil and scribble something. Write a word. Think about what are you feeling right now in this moment. Can you write something about this on the page? And you can work on a loose piece of paper. You don't even have to work on a journal if you don't want to. Just a loose piece of printer paper. Just grab a loose piece of paper and just do that. If you don't like it, you can trash it. But what you get in the process, like after 5 or 10 minutes, it doesn't matter what you get on the paper, but through the process of doing it, the things that you feel inside, that is like that is the actual gem, not the finished piece of paper. So when you do this for 5 days, and I have a few students telling me that they are doing this, and the kind of experience, because I really don't care how beautiful your page looks at the end. The things that you go through internally, that is what I'm more interested at.
Right, right. Okay, wonderful. So grab them if you want to share. We have a Facebook group with the in-story show. If you want to share what you created or what you experienced, we'd love to hear from you. Grab the free gift. Go to Debasree's website, and you'll see all kinds of wondrous things there. And just thank you so much. I love what you're up to. It's so beautiful. And we're going to wrap up, but leave us with the last thought as we wrap up.
Oh, I actually loved being here. So thank you so much, Devorah, for inviting me to this beautiful thing that you are organizing. If there is one last thing that I want to tell you, or all to all your audience, is that fear is a real thing. So it is going to be there. We all feel that. There is nobody I know that who hasn't felt the fear. So. But if you can take just 5 minutes of your time and still do the things, because when we feel fear, we procrastinate, not because we don't know how to do it. So instead of procrastinating, if you like just sit with 5 minutes and make some marks, you will feel that the fear was there and yet you did it, and you feel achieved at the end of 5 minutes. And that's a huge thing. That's a huge gift you can give yourself. All of us can give ourselves, overcoming the fear by taking action.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Thank you so much. So take her advice, get the free gift, do the thing and see what happens. Because that's part of what we are here for and what we mean by expanding into a new story. So As I always say in farewell, remember to go out in the world, share your story, live your purpose, and be a blessing. Bye, folks.